Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me, and welcome to another episode of New Music Finds. This is where I like to collect together all the different things that I've picked up over the past week, give you a little bit of background on it, tell you about why I chose to pick it up, and maybe along the way helping you decide if you want to pick any of this stuff up for yourself or just reminding you about something cool that you got in your own collection and you can pull out and listen to. So I've got 13 different things to run through with you guys. We'll get into it here in just a bit. But if you are new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like. All those things do help support my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by turning on notifications, you'll never miss an episode and stay up to date on really cool things like this with New Music Finds. So, as I always do, I like to kick off with new releases, and there were a bunch of them from this past week. Some of it was stuff that actually came out on May 9th. Some of it was stuff from previous weeks that I was finally getting in the mail. But all in all, leading to a cool weekend of new music for me. And so, I'm going to kick off with Counting Crows and their brand new one called Butter Miracle, the Complete Suite. So this one's an interesting one because they had recorded the Suite 1 as an EP. It was 4 songs. It was a suite. All the songs were sort of continuous and flow in from one to the next on there. And they'd intended to follow it up with a Suite 2, and they recorded those songs, and it took longer, and they ultimately weren't very happy. They went and re-recorded or something along those lines, and then ultimately decided to skip the EP on it and just put it together as an album. So they added 5 more songs to this, 9 songs total now, and it is a full-length album. It's their first one in 11 years too. So great to be getting a full-length album from them. I didn't happen to know that they had put out the EP, Suite 1, so glad to be getting it this way. For me, it's all new, but for those of you that maybe already had that EP, there's still 5 new songs as part of this. Okay, this next one here really surprised me. I have done a full review and unboxing on it. I'm talking about the brand new Little Feat album, Strike Up the Band. This one here I did not have high hopes for. I was not expecting overly too much from them. This is a band that is 56 years into their career, and this album here is easily as good as any of the classic stuff, in my opinion. Definitely as good as anything from the original heyday up through 79. And easily as good as anything going all the way back to their reunion album of 88. So lots and lots of great stuff on this album. It's classic Little Feat sounding style material. If you checked out their album from a year ago called Sam's Place, that was a blues album, and it was sung by Sam Clayton, who's part of the band, and he's been there since 72. So it's very cool to put him to the forefront, have him take lead vocals and everything. But the album didn't really sound like classic Little Feat. It was sort of a fun thing for them to do, but when you hadn't had an album out in 10 years, that was a little disappointing for fans like myself that wanted that classic sound. This is that album that returns them to that sound. So I was very, very happy with it. It has made a big impact on me. It's one of those ones that even when I was done with the album, I restarted it. When the next song would play, I would go, wow, this is a good one too. Wow, this is another good one. So sometimes, albums are front heavy and they die off after that, or maybe a one great opening track and it just doesn't carry throughout. But I have to say that this album here carries all the way throughout. There was not a bad song on here. If you've been a fan of Little Feat in the past, or you just want to hear some good rock and roll music, check out the new Little Feat. Definitely, highly recommend that. Okay, this was a fun one here. It got pushed back a couple weeks and then ultimately making its release now. Chong, and this is called Clear Light, Dark Matter, and it's a 2 CD compilation where the first disc is the hits and the second disc has rarities on it. And up until getting it, I didn't know that that's how it was. I thought it was a mix of everything where it had a few rarities mixed in with all the hits and it was just a 2-disc set. But I actually really like the way that they put this together and broke it up. So where we've got the single disc hits that covers 3, maybe 4 albums, I can't recall. They didn't have a lot and they haven't done any new material in a very long time. And then you've got that second disc in here, which actually goes back to their very first album before they were Wang Chung. They were, and I don't even know if the H is really pronounced, but Huang Chung, spelled differently. In 1982, they put out an album. Then the name spelling changed to Wang Chung, and they're what we know them as today. But the Rarities album has stuff from that very first 1982 album where their name was spelled differently. It's got demos, it's got some different mixes, some edits, some cool stuff like that. So whether or not you're a hardcore fan and want the hits, or you've already got all their stuff and you want some deep cuts and rarities and things of that nature, this is a cool little collection for that. And then this was inside it. From Sing Records is who put this out. And then you open this up and it's actually a certificate of authenticity. I haven't scanned this yet to see what it will, take me to or show me, but that's inside it, certificate of authenticity. I've not had one of those come inside a CD before, but I've noticed that a lot of these smaller independent labels are trying new things to get people to come out and start buying physical media again. And I hope that that catches on, especially for the youth that never bought physical media, that likes these sort of things, that will see that as something special and different and something that didn't happen when we were buying it back in the day, just regular albums and stuff. Now, if there's something a little extra in it, it might trigger both, my generation returning and some of the youth from today who are getting into it for the first time. Okay, so staying on that 80s wave of things, we got NXS returning with Listen Like Thieves, a 2-CD deluxe edition, celebrating its 40th anniversary of this classic 1985 album. We get a 2025 remix done by Giles Martin, who's been off doing all the different stuff from the Beatles, the solo albums, the Beatle albums and stuff, being the son of George Martin. So you get him doing this and you get a really cool new listening experience that way, but you also get a bonus disc in here that's got B-sides, outtakes, demos, extended editions. So you also get that rarity stuff. So much like the Wang Chung that had the hits plus the rarities, you get the album plus the rarities, but you get some different stuff along the way. And the original album's still in print, so this is not replacing it. If you don't want the Giles Martin 2025 remix, you can still go get the original one. But I've already got that, so I am looking forward to and have been enjoying that new version of this album. I do enjoy that has become a thing where a lot of these classic albums are getting new mixes, and it's a different way to hear it. It's something new while still being tangible and touching the historic, the original, and giving us that nostalgia from these things. Because interestingly, the archival stuff is big business these days and actually brings in more money than new studio recordings from bands. So that's why you're seeing a lot of that stuff happening. Box sets, deluxe editions, remixes, live albums, all that sort of stuff, bringing in more money than new studio albums. I'd wish it was the other way around, but that's how it is. Okay, this one came out, I think, a week back. Took a little bit to get to me. Brand new album from Russ Ballard. It's actually 2 albums. It's a 2-CD set. And so you get the actual album of new original material called Songs from the Warehouse. And then there's one called Rewired, which is re-recordings of songs that were made popular by other artists. And if you don't know who Russ Ballard is, maybe that name does ring a bell, but you're not sure why. He's the one who wrote songs that were made famous by like Rainbow with Since You've Been Gone. God Gave Rock and Roll to You, which was made popular by Kiss. And there's a bunch of other ones on here as well, including New York Groove, which Ace Frehley from Kiss made popular. And you get different, or not different, but you get re-recordings of those songs that were hits by other artists. So whether or not you want hits or you want new material, you're getting both on this one. So actually very interesting, just kind of realizing that this past week was a thing where you're getting something new and something old at the same time from at least three of these artists here that I've shown you already. I have to say that the new material on here is what actually brought me into it more than anything. And out of all the stuff that I got, I've been listening to this maybe more than anything because those new songs by Russ Ballard, you wouldn't think it at this point, this late in the game, sort of like that Little Feat album, is really, really good. A lot of these classic artists are churning out some of their best material in their entire careers at this late stage of their game. And I've been loving it. I've been really excited about. That's why I want the new material to keep selling or to start selling more than it has been, because there's some really, really great stuff out there. But that's why they're pairing it up with archival stuff, because that's the stuff that is actually helping to move these collections and stuff. Anyway, new Russ Ballard along with a re-recording of hits there. Okay, so I talked about this one a week ago, had to import it from Germany. Wolverine, an all-female girl, well, obviously if they're all female, they're girl, all-female group of musicians, hard rock album from start to finish. There's no ballads on here. It is just really good hard rock. I love the name Wolverine, play on the name Wolverine, but obviously because they're all ladies, using the word vulva, so Wolverine. No pictures of them at all inside here. There is a booklet in here, but it's just lyrics. In fact, the only real reason I know that they were all girls is when I went to stream it, there is a picture of the band, all 5 of the girls, and you can see that. And so I was like, oh, interesting. I thought maybe they were just female fronted, but in fact, they are an all girl group. And I saw that they went out on the road with Cobra Spell and Thunder Mother. So what a cool triple package of all female lineup, all female artists, on one bill like that. Okay, another one that came out, and at the time when I filmed the video for you guys that posted on Saturday, when I was filming it on Friday, I hadn't even placed an order, yet I placed the order and got it delivered to me on Saturday. The new Undead album, Act Your Rage Again. It is a belated 35th anniversary. It's actually celebrating 36 years because the original album is from 1989. Got a whole host of people coming out and recording with the band, Bobby Steele being a former guitar player of the Misfits, so this being a Misfits offshoot project, but you've got other people from the Misfits family joining in as well on here. So very cool collection of stuff. Really enjoyed it. They are a New Jersey band. I live in New Jersey, so I placed an order on Friday, and then it was delivered to me on Saturday. I couldn't believe it. Absolutely crazy. They must be like one town over from me or something for it to have shipped and gotten to me that fast. But all in all, very, very cool to get it so quick and to have it, because this was not something I could order from Amazon. And I mentioned that in the What Just Dropped series that you had to go to the band's website to order it. So that's what I did. And then I got it really quick, and the shipping was very cost effective on it. It was $6 or something. But because I was ordering that and I noticed they had a few other things, I picked up 2 other EPs that the Undead had put out in the last couple of years that I didn't have for my collection. So when you're paying for shipping, I always like to try to make it worth my while, which is probably what they also hope, because they ended up getting me to buy 3 things from them. as opposed to just the one thing. So I ended up picking these two up along with this, making that shipping worthwhile. Just flip these over on the back side. So this is kind of cool. This was limited of a 300 copies, number 149 for this. And then this one here, not a numbered copy, but got cool art on it there. So yeah, so adding all that in. And those were the new things that I had picked up. But I also got sent some stuff from Metallic Blue Records, which is why I'm wearing the shirt here. And I wanted to share with you, I've got 2 albums from a group called Category 5. And while this is a thrash group, there is also a Category 7 that has John Bush, formerly of Anthrax, currently of Armored Saint, and the lineup. So Category 7, different group. Great stuff. Go check them out as well. But Category 5 is a different thrash group. And so this one here being their latest album, and you might notice that the album art sort of has a familiar feel to it because Ed Repka, who does all the artwork for, well, not all, but he's done a lot of the artwork with like Megadeth on the Peace Sells album, and a lot of other cool artists did the artwork here. So it's really cool to have a band that's got a throwback thrash metal sound to it, having cool album art done by somebody that came up and made some of the classic album art from the 1980s appear on here. And that's the newest album, and this one here from 2010, which got reissued in 2023, is produced by Dennis Ward of Pink Cream 69. But Dennis Ward does lots of production and has other bands that he does. So if Dennis Ward is producing this group, you know that they've got to be worth something. And so that in and of itself, definitely recommend checking out if you like cool old school 80s thrash, the band Category 5. So you can check that out. And then previously, when talking about Metallic Blue Records and getting some stuff in the mail, and I showed it to you, I talked about this, Lethal X, which is a newer version of the band that used to be called Racer X, which had Paul Gilbert from Mr. Big in the lineup. So we still got 2 of the guys in here, but the new guitar player who took over for Paul Gilbert was Milan Pollock. And I got sent this, a new solo album from Milan Pollock called Wire and Wood. And it's really interesting because this guy not only can shred on the guitar like he's doing here on Lethal X, continuing on the legacy that Paul Gilbert set up for Racer X, but what he's doing here on the acoustic guitar is really quite phenomenal. So making a rock sounding album that is acoustic in nature and playing it phenomenally on here, just in a way that you wouldn't normally expect an acoustic guitar to be played. So very, very cool. Highly recommend this. This was something that was just sort of put into the package for me along with the Category 5, and yet this here really, really caught my ear and made it something that I wanted to keep going back to and checking out. And cool thing is there's some cool people guesting on here. Kip Winger's on here. Billy Sheehan of Mr. Big is on here. So a lot of cool people guesting on this, meaning that this guy, known throughout the industry, played with a lot of cool people and can pull those kind of people in because he is a talented musician like these other guys. So Milan Pollock, check this stuff out. I'm sure this guy is going to be making a bigger dent, sort of worldwide as he gets more stuff going with the notoriety that he has been coming into since doing Lethal X and his own stuff. But there you go, 13 different things that I picked up over this past week. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And like I said, even if you're not sure about picking any of this stuff up yourself, I mean, if it at least inspires you to go pull out some old school Little Feat to listen to, or maybe go pull out some Misfits by correlation to the Undead, or pull out some Racer X, I mean, whatever it might be, I hope that these episodes turn you on to something or inspire you to go pull something out and give it a listen. And that at least is the fun of these sort of episodes, going through the stuff that I found, that I picked up, that's new for me, could be new for you if you choose to go out and explore it, but otherwise just helping to give you something else to think about, watch, and go listen to. All right, everyone. Take care. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.